committee to make sure that we hear from those various stakeholders, whether there's First Nations communities, advocates, and I see, Mr. Speaker, that my time is coming up, and I'll be glad to resume this debate after question period. Thank you so much.
The honourable member for Barrie Innisfil will have 13 minutes and 45 seconds coming to him when we resume debate after question period. Statements by members. Déclaration de député. L'honorable député de Manicouagan.
Monsieur le Président,
Mr. Speaker, the government kept saying that it did not want a bad deal under NAFTA and would not sign one. But it has simply conceded everything for Quebec. There are no gains. Even when it comes to illegal tariffs on steel and aluminum, they've deferred to Trump. The door is opening wider to unfair competition. They've backed down in health, and they're protecting pharmaceutical companies. Ottawa has given Trump everything he wanted and got nothing in return for Quebec. The Prime Minister has been had by a president that didn't want an agreement unless Canada decided to bow down along the entire line. These are trade negotiations where Quebec had no place at the table.
Député de Laval-les-Îles. Laval-les-Îles.
October 1st marks in Canada the National and International Seniors' Day. For the UN, today's seniors developed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That's why Canada, the UN, and the entire world want to celebrate these champions and defenders of human rights. This Parliament has recognized the exceptional contribution of seniors to Canadian society. Seniors contribute their experience, their know-how, and their knowledge to the youngest generations. That's why our government is working on increasing their income, including them in society, and improving their health. October 1st is an opportunity for all Canadian women and men to say thank you and to make sure that seniors' rights are upheld every single day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member for Saskatoon-Grasswood.
Mr. Speaker, Saturday we laid Don MacDonald to rest. Don was a man of many passions who gave of himself, his time, his energy to countless organizations. A proud Scotsman, Don played the bagpipes for over 65 years. There wasn't an organization that the pipe major didn't volunteer for. He was a military man, receiving a lifetime membership to the Royal Canadian Legion. Saskatoon, under Don MacDonald, held the largest indoor Remembrance Day service every year in this country. He was a huge supporter of Saskatchewan football, spending 8 years as their president. He co-founded the Prairie Football League. He was commissioner of the Canadian Junior Football League. Don was known, though, as Mr. Hilltop, serving 7 decades with the Blue and Gold. Named to 3 Sport Hall of Fames, the Saskatoon, the Saskatchewan, and recently the Canadian Football Hall in 2015. Don, you will be missed. Thank you.
The honourable member for King Vaughan.
Mr. Speaker, today is National Seniors' Day, a day when Canadians are invited to celebrate the older adults in their lives. Here on the Hill, our Minister for Seniors has organized a series of roundtables for stakeholders to discuss seniors' issues and explore ways to ensure the federal government programs and services respond to Canada's ageing population. Our nation's seniors have created the framework for our country's success and have helped build the open, diverse, and compassionate society we all enjoy today. With the number of seniors projected to reach 10 million by 2036, it is vital that we support their needs. By investing in seniors, we're investing in the well-being and prosperity of Canada. I would like to invite all those in this House to attend the National Seniors' Day reception tonight at 5:30 to 7:30 in 216 Centre Block, with refreshments provided by CARP, Canadian Association of Retired People. Let's all celebrate our seniors today and every day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
L'honorable député de Sherbrooke.
Monsieur le Président, ça fait des mois que...
Mr. Speaker, it's been months now that Quebecers and Canadians have been asking the government to completely protect the supply management system during NAFTA renegotiations. However, we found out this morning that the new deal that was just signed with the United States and Mexico opens a new breach in the supply management system. 10% is now open to foreign markets. The Prime Minister has kept claiming that he wanted to protect supply management and that Canada would rather not sign any deal rather than a bad deal. But I've got some news for him. What he just signed is a bad deal, Mr. Speaker. How can the Prime Minister say that he's satisfied with the result when he has simply bowed before the American president? Quebec's dairy farmers are furious, disappointed, and worried, and I understand they're right. These additional concessions will lead to serious shocks for producers and agricultural farmers here at home. They're the ones who will pay for being the Prime Minister's bargaining chip. It's easy to see now that the Liberals never had any intention of keeping their promises. Instead of defending local farmers, the government has simply betrayed them again.
Honourable Member for Richmond Hill.
Mr. Speaker, this week is Mental Illness Awareness Week. And as Chair of Mental Health Caucus, I'm pleased to see members from across party lines taking time out of their schedules to meet with mental health advocates and researchers from across the country. As Canadians and as leaders, our awareness of realities of mental illness has never been greater. And as I look around Parliament today, I see the will for real change. But there's still so much work for us to do. I hope that all members of Parliament can take a moment this week to meet with those people fighting for that change. Join me in conversation with Mental Health Research Canada tonight. Take the time tomorrow to hear the lived experience of CAMI-MH, Faces of Mental Illness. As leaders, this is a week for us to take a moment to learn, listen, and act together. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Sarnia-Lambton.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to support the 2018 Mental Illness Awareness Week as we seek to end the stigma associated with mental illness. My community of Sarnia-Lambton and many others like it have felt the impact of mental illness and the ensuing lack of resources to address these problems. We know that 1 in 5 Canadians will suffer a mental illness, which is why we must work hard to remove the stigma attached to discussing such issues and provide the resource support for those impacted communities. I'm also honoured to inform the House that I'll be co-hosting a special reception with the Speaker and the member for Vancouver Kingsway and the Canadian Alliance on Mental Illness and Mental Health to celebrate Mental Illness Awareness Week 2018. So join us tomorrow from 5:30 to 7. I encourage all members to attend. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Scarborough-Agincourt.
Mr. Speaker, this past weekend I attended many events honoring seniors and recognizing their volunteer efforts in my riding. Today is National Seniors Day and an opportunity to pay tribute to the seniors who built our country, contribute to our society, and continue to mentor us. After a lifetime of hard work, they deserve a dignified retirement. In 2017, our government invested $55 million in the New Horizons for Seniors program to support seniors' social engagement and their communities. Additionally, since 2016, our government has created 5,000 new housing units for seniors, and through the National Housing Strategy, we have made creating more affordable housing for seniors a priority. With over 8.2 million Canadians over the age of 60, it is vital for us to continue investments in support of our seniors. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Calgary Centre.
Without a place to live, it's difficult, if not impossible, to build a life. That's why affordable housing advocates are so excited about our game-changing national housing strategy. The $40 billion investment will reduce homelessness by 50% and give countless Canadians an opportunity to build their life. In Calgary, the National Housing Strategy is already having an impact. The Horizon Housing Society, the Resolve Project, and Silvera for Seniors are partnering with our government to build 161 affordable housing units for low-income seniors, families, and individuals. This affordable housing project in Calgary was the first to receive federal funding under our game-changing plan. Thanks to their hard work and effort, countless more Calgarians will be able to stop worrying about trying to put a roof over their head and start building their lives.
The The honourable member for Simcoe Grey.
Mr. Speaker, this weekend was Run for the Cure for breast cancer. Every year, over 26,000 Canadian women are diagnosed with breast cancer. 5,000 will die from it this year, and 1 in 31 women in this country will die from it in their lifetime. My mother, Lynn, was one of those women. She was a strong, passionate, and generous mother. She had 3 children of her own, and if she was alive today, she would meet her 5 amazing grandchildren. Harper, Lynn, and Cashton Leach, Maylee Collins, and Jeremy Heath, who are here with us in the gallery today. To honor my mother's life and legacy, our family has organized an annual charity event, and the proceeds go to breast cancer research. The 18th annual was held last week that raised over $17,000 to bring us to over $250,000. If you have a family member battling breast cancer, know that with continued research and support, we will beat this terrible disease so that every grandmother can meet their grandchild. Thank you.
The honourable member for Alfred Pellant. Mr. Speaker, today, October 1st, is National Seniors Day.
National Seniors Day is an opportunity to celebrate seniors from sea to sea. It is an occasion to acknowledge the lifelong contributions our seniors have made to our communities and to our country. I invite my colleagues and Canadians to take the time to say thank you to a senior.
In Alfred Pellant, we're lucky to have seniors who contribute every single day to building a more inclusive and supportive community. Our seniors continue to share with us their stories and their heritage, which sometimes is made up of hopes and dreams, but also, let us not forget it, of tears and sacrifices. Dear seniors in Alfred Pellant and in all of Canada, thank you for building the Canada that I know today. Thank you for the sacrifices that you have made, and thank you for being a source of inspiration.
The honourable member for Egmont.
Mr. Speaker, as a person born and raised in a small fishing community, tragedy like the one that occurred off North Cape, Prince Edward Island, hits me very close to home. Last week, when the fishing vessel Kyla Ann capsized in rough waters, and with it took the lives of Captain Glenn DeRoche and Mo Getson, it reminded me of the risk faced by fishers and their families every time they take to the water. I would like to take this opportunity to send my heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of the 2 men lost in this terrible tragedy. I would also like to thank the countless community volunteers and professionals who were involved in the search and rescue efforts for the Kyla Ann.
L'honorable député.
The honourable member for Beauport, Côte-de-Beaupré, Île-d'Orléans, Charlevoix. Mr. Speaker, he marked us with his voice, his lyrics, his passion. For me, he was the greatest of great French singers, my idol, Charles Aznavour. The very first time I heard him, I was 6 or 7 years old. The song La Bohème, or The Bohemian, is still synonymous with happiness for me. He charmed us so many times with his songs and his deep lyrics, so much so that today we feel like humming them, to hum them and to remember those precious moments. Remember Mourir d'aimer, Que c'est triste Venise, Les plaisirs démodés, or Formi, Formidable, all of these songs which struck a chord with us. Today, we've lost a great artist, but his memory will live on in our hearts and minds forever. I can still hear him sing, Non, je n'ai rien oublié, or No, I have forgotten nothing. I offer my sincerest condolences to his family and loved ones.
L'honorable député de Longueuil.
The honourable member for Longueuil, Charles Lemoine. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to call attention to National Seniors Day, which is today. It's an opportunity to recognize, celebrate, and pay tribute to all seniors for their valuable contributions, which they have made and continue to make to our families, our workplaces, and our communities throughout Canada.
It's hard for us, and we're working hard for them. We took action to improve income security by restoring the age of eligibility from 67 to 65 for the old age security pension and the guaranteed income supplement. And we increased the GIS for the most vulnerable single seniors by almost $1,000 per year. We took concrete steps to improve healthcare services, increase affordable and accessible housing, and promote social inclusion for Canada's seniors. Mr. Speaker, seniors helped build our country and left us a strong legacy. On National Seniors Day, I invite everyone to join me in thanking seniors across Canada for making a positive difference in all of our lives. Merci.
The honourable member for Port Moody Coquitlam.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to invite all MPs to join Sandy and Brian Stewart and the All-Party Oceans Caucus this Wednesday, October 3rd, after votes at the Lansdowne Cineplex Theatre, an advance screening of Rob Stewart's newest film, Sharkwater Extinction, which opens in Canadian theatres October 15th. Rob Stewart was a Canadian filmmaker, photographer, conservationist, and my friend. He spent his entire life educating people about the vital role sharks play in maintaining healthy ocean ecosystems and the horrific practice of shark finning, which kills 70 to 100 million sharks a year. He tragically died in January 2017 while shooting this film, a documentary about illegal shark finning industry. Canada could honor Rob's work and provide a lasting legacy for his efforts by moving forward with a shark fin import ban. Join us Wednesday to learn more about this important issue and how you can be part of the solution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Richmond Centre.
Mr. Speaker, it is with great pride that I stand in this House today to celebrate our National Seniors Day. Far too often, our busy lives often cause us to forget about the elders in our lives, those senior citizens who have a lifetime of knowledge and wisdom to impact on the younger generations. These are the people that built the Canada we love. That is why in 2006, the Conservative government appointed the first Minister for Seniors, and in 2010 established the first National Seniors Day. I was privileged to have served as Minister for Seniors for 4.5 years. I hope all members in this House, as well as Canadians watching from home, will take the time to visit or volunteer in a seniors' home in their community and reach out to their parents and grandparents and share with them how grateful we all are for their dedication and efforts in both building our nation and raising its people. Happy Seniors Day.
The honourable member for Orleans.
Mr. Speaker, it's my privilege to speak today on the recent accomplishments achieved by Canada, the United States, and Mexico. On a new modernized trade agreement, the USMCA.
Canada was waiting to get a good deal, and we got it, Mr. Speaker.
It's good for hundreds of thousands of Canadians who work in the auto industry. It's good for Canadian business, good for Canadian farmers, for the energy sector. Monsieur le Président, cet accord.
Mr. Speaker, this agreement protects economic stability and promotes future job growth.
It will result in freer markets, fair trade, and robust economic growth in our region. It will strengthen the middle class and create good, well-paying jobs and provide stability and confidence for investors. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Oral questions, questions orales. The honourable leader of the opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we're waiting for the details of the new free trade agreement with the United States so that we can assess all the details. However, we do know that the Prime Minister made concessions in the access to the dairy sector, as well as in terms of the Class 7 ranking. Can the Prime Minister tell us what the concessions were compared to any concessions the Americans had to make in their dairy market? Mr. Speaker, the agreement that we reached yesterday is a good agreement for Canada. It's a good agreement for the market throughout the continent, and it's very important to say that we have innovative people in this country. Canadians work hard and they innovate. With respect to dairy products, we work closely with the dairy industry, and we will continue to do that to ensure that they receive appropriate compensation for their loss of market share.
L'opposition.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The question is whether or not he was able to get concessions from the United States on the very same issue. When the Prime Minister offered to renegotiate NAFTA, there were no sunset clauses, steel tariffs, or auto quotas, and we already had a dispute resolution mechanism. So these are not new gains in this deal. So we had hoped that the government might negotiate gains for Canada, like an end to the Buy America policy that costs billions of dollars and thousands of jobs. Does this new deal put an end, once and for all, for the Buy America policy, yes or no?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians are pleased today that we are moving forward on a historic accord that stabilizes, secures, and offers certainty to investors, to Canadian businesses, but mostly to workers and folks in the middle class. We have ended the uncertainty around trade in Canada. We have demonstrated that we can move forward and continue to grow our economy, drawing in global investment, being part of the global supply chains, and being an integrated part in the North American market. This is a good day for Canada, and it's a good day for Canadians.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the question was very specific. The Prime Minister has made major concessions on key areas. He's made concessions on dairy, he's made concessions on auto quotas, and he's made concessions on pharmaceuticals, meaning that Canadian patients will have to pay higher drug costs. Now, we would have hoped that after making all those concessions, we would be able to see a gain on an important issue like Buy American. So can the Prime Minister confirm whether or not he has put an end to the Buy America policy in this deal?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, over the past 13 months, we have been working extremely hard with the Americans and with the Mexicans to reach a new deal that would be good for Canadians. Despite what Stephen Harper recommended about 6 months ago, we weren't ready to sign any old deal. We needed to sign a deal that is good for Canadians, and that's exactly what we did. We have stood up for Canada, stood up for Canadians, and we got it done in the right way, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank Canadians who've been united on this issue across all corners of the country and across all ideologies.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians were united in wanting a good deal. The Prime Minister is trying to take credit for things that the Conservative Party had locked in over 25 years ago. There was no sunset clause. There was already a dispute resolution mechanism, and now he has made major concessions on key sectors of the economy. Now we'd like to see where the gains are. One area that Canadians were very united in hoping to see an end to was the punishing tariffs on softwood lumber. Can the Prime Minister confirm whether or not his concessions has led to an end to the softwood lumber tariffs?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry to hear that the official opposition's official position seems to be that this is a bad deal.
Shame.
Canadians disagree. This is a good deal for Canada. It provides certainty and security as we move forward. We have ensured continued access to the North American market in a time of protectionism, and we continue to know that as we engage with the United States in positive, constructive ways, we're going to keep putting Canadians' interests at the forefront of everything. This is not about politics, Mr. Speaker. This is about prosperity for Canadians. That's where we stay focused.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, we are going to evaluate this deal to determine if it's a good deal. And one of the ways that we'll be able to determine that is to find out where Canada gained. Now, we know where he has backed down. He's backed down to Donald Trump on dairy. He's backed down to Donald Trump on auto quotas. And he's backed down to Donald Trump on pharmaceuticals, meaning Canadian patients will have to pay higher for drug costs. Now, after making all these concessions, we'd like to know, did he secure an end to the softwood lumber tariffs?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I guess we'll have to wait a little while to find out whether the official opposition thinks this is a good deal or a bad deal. But I can tell you that Canadians right across the country understand that securing access to the North American market, that demonstrating that we could stand up for the rules-based order by having intact Chapter 19, defending our cultural industries, including as they move more digital, is a good thing. That defending supply management as it continues is a good thing. This is what Canadians expected. This is what we've delivered.
The Honourable Member for Rimouski-Neigette-Témiscouata-Les-Basques. Mr. Speaker, I remember a time not so long ago when the Prime Minister told us that there would be a new progressive NAFTA that would promote gender equality and Indigenous rights. He even said in the August of 2017 that he also wanted environmental protection conditions in the deal. On all those points, Mr. Speaker, nothing gained, nothing at all. But instead, more Canadian concessions on supply management and continuing tariffs on steel and aluminum. The Prime Minister promised that there would be no deal instead of a bad deal. Why did he completely cave in? Right Honourable the Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we did get a good deal. And we did it in terms of the environment as well. There are more measures now to protect the environment in this agreement than there were in the 25-year-old deal from before. We have penalties and sanctions in there if the environmental conditions are not met. And that's something that we obtained in this agreement. Now, I understand that the NDP doesn't like agreements and that it wouldn't want a trade deal with anyone, including apparently the United States. The Honourable Member for Rimouski-Neigette-Témiscouata-Les-Basques. So we now have a NAFTA with more concessions. For the third time in 4 years, agricultural producers are the ones being sacrificed to get a deal. And yet the Prime Minister had said 1,000 times over that he would stand up for supply management. What he didn't tell us was that he was going to bring it to its knees first. 1 breach, 2 breaches, 3, and now the system is drowning underwater. And the Americans are going to continue to subsidize their agricultural industry and then come and dump their surplus here. The Prime Minister promised producers that he would stand up for them and protect supply management. Why did he completely cave in? Right Honourable the Prime Minister. On the contrary, Mr. Speaker, we did protect supply management. We signed CETA, we signed the CPTPP, and now we have signed the USMCA. And we have a process there that protects and that continues to protect our supply management sector. Obviously, we will be working closely with the dairy sector and with dairy producers in order to ensure that appropriate compensation is made to them for their loss of market share. But we have secured supply management for future generations.
Canadians were worried we wouldn't get a deal, but today, many are worried about what we've given up to get this deal. This new deal looks nothing like the priorities the Liberals promised at the beginning of negotiations. Where is that progressive trade agenda? The Liberals have made major concessions that will hurt Canadian dairy, poultry and egg farmers. They failed to get Trump's promised exemption on aluminum and steel tariffs, and they've made access to medication even more expensive. The Liberals promised a win, win, win. How can this Prime Minister give up so much and call this a win?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, unfortunately, the NDP are not just opposed to all trade deals, but especially progressive trade deals, which is a shame, because what we've moved forward with in terms of labour standards in North America is historic in terms of protecting the rights of workers. What we've moved forward for on the environment is strengthened environmental protections and real consequences within the accord that had never been done before. We are moving forward in a deal that works for the middle class and people working hard to join it, and that is at the heart of the progressive agenda of this government and of this progressive trade deal.
Honourable Member for Essex.
The lack of transparency throughout this whole process has been overwhelming. Canadians were promised transparency and expected transparency. Our workers need to know exactly what their government has signed on to and how this will affect their livelihoods. They deserve to know that their jobs and our Canadian industries are protected. And I'm still looking for that progressive trade agenda. So, simple question for the Prime Minister. Will he be transparent and bring this deal into Parliament for study, debate and vote?
The Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, There's again a lot of credit given to this government for negotiating this deal, but I have to say that we have owed a debt of gratitude to many, many stakeholders and industries across this country, including the Canadian Labour Congress and Unifor. Jerry Dias and Hassan Youssef have worked closely with us every step of the way to ensure that this deal could be the best possible one for workers, for labour, and for Canadians. That's what we're going to continue to focus on. And of course, Mr. Speaker, through the ratification process, we look forward to bringing this deal to Parliament.
The honourable member for Richmond Athabasca. Mr. Speaker, all Canadians want a good agreement for our country with the United States and Mexico. However, our dairy producers, our steel, aluminum, and softwood lumber industries are still in a precarious situation. We now know what the Prime Minister sacrificed for the American president. What Quebecers and Canadians want to know is, what did we actually gain? Can the Prime Minister tell us how Canada's economy will benefit from this new agreement? Because we're trying to figure that out. The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be clear. Canada is proud of us because we were determined and we kept our sights on our goals, even though some were recommending that we capitulate. We knew that that new agreement had to be a good deal for Canada and for Canadians, and that's exactly what we got. The Honourable Member for Richmond Athabasca. Mr. Speaker, well, here are the facts. There are still 25% tariffs on steel and 10% on aluminum. We don't have an agreement on softwood lumber, and the agricultural sector in Canada has been the subject of many concessions under these negotiations. Can the Prime Minister tell us if an impact study was done in order to assess the impact of these concessions to the American president, and will he commit, if so, to tabling it in this House? The Honourable Minister of Global Affairs. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to say one very important thing. Today, I would like to thank our Canadian negotiators who worked so hard to get this deal, and I want to thank our chief negotiator. On behalf of all Canadians, thank you for your continued work. This is a deal that will be good for workers and Canadian businesses and good for Canadian families.
Honourable Member for Carleton.
It would have been the goal of any competent government to bring an end to destructive Buy America policies that block Canadian workers and businesses from state and local projects south of the border. Yet this government has backed down to Donald Trump on pharmaceuticals with higher drug prices for Canadians, has backed down on copyright, dairy, and numerous other issues. Today, so far, they have not been able to point to any victory on Buy America. Can the minister confirm if Buy America will end with the signature of this deal?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, there's a bit of a mystery here, because last week I think the Conservatives were urging us to capitulate. They were urging us to give in. And this week, the Conservatives seem not to want a deal at all. Our government did exactly what we promised Canadians. We said we wanted a good deal, not just any deal, and a good deal is what we have.
The Honourable Member for Carleton. Order.
Well, it's funny that they would choose to use the word capitulate, because capitulate is precisely what they have done. They have capitulated on pharmaceuticals, allowing Trump to force higher drug costs on Canadian patients to boost American drug company profits. They've capitulated, allowing for caps on the growth of Canadian auto exports. They have capitulated on copyright and dairy. The question is, what did they get in return for all of this capitulation? Did they get an end to Buy America? Yes or no?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
As I said, Mr. Speaker, the Conservatives seem to have discovered a lot of Monday morning courage, having counseled throughout this negotiation that Canada take a softer line.
And pack it in.
I think Canadians have seen that our government was determined to stand up for the national interest while being fair-minded and seeking reasonable compromise. That's exactly what we've done, Mr. Speaker, and we got a good deal for Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
Well, she can misrepresent our position all she wants, so I'm trying to find out the position of this government. We know that they've backed down to Donald Trump by capping future growth of Canadian auto exports. They backed down to Donald Trump, forcing Canadians to pay higher prices for pharmaceuticals. We know they backed down on copyright and dairy and other policies. What did they get in return, Mr. Speaker? Is there an end today to tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum? Yes or no?
Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, let me challenge very clearly something simply wrong in what the honourable member said. This deal is great for the car sector. It is great for the car parts sector. That's why the share prices of our three leading car parts companies went up today. That is not a market response that says this deal is bad for our companies and our workers. This is a deal that secures growth and investment in that crucial area, and we should all be proud that we got that.
The Honourable Member for Carleton.
Mr. Speaker, it's funny, the Liberals are trying to take credit for things we already had for 25 years.
Thanks, Conservative.
You know, they're trying to take credit for something that was negotiated under a previous Conservative government. We know what they sacrificed, what they gave up in backing down to Donald Trump. Higher drug costs for Canadian consumers and higher profits for American companies. We know they gave up a lot for Donald Trump, but what about on softwood lumber? Tariffs have killed jobs in the forestry industry in Canada for a long time. Have they finally put an end to Trump's tariffs on softwood lumber? Yes or no?
Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what we got for the softwood lumber industry. It's something called Chapter 19. This dispute settlement mechanism is absolutely essential for our industry, and we...
Order. Alors. Alors.
Order.
Alors, je demande à la...
Order. I would call on the member for Louis Saint Laurent, please, to restrain himself. Thank you. The honourable member for Jean-Pierre. Mr. Speaker, even though a new Canada-Mexico-United States agreement was signed, the people of my riding and other Quebec regions feel abandoned. The Liberals once again have opened up a breach in supply management, and not only in the dairy sector, it has also opened it up in the poultry sector. Furthermore, the government has not been able to get rid of tariffs on aluminum. What did we gain? The status quo. Aluminum, agriculture, softwood lumber. Can Quebec still count on the Liberals to stand up for their strategic sectors? The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to start with supply management. We fully support our dairy producers and their families and their communities. This deal will provide access to the market, but the most important point is that the future of supply management is not jeopardized. And I also want to underscore the fact that fair and appropriate compensation will be paid to our dairy producers.
For Cowichan, Malahat, Langford.
Mr. Speaker, for months we've asked the Liberals if they would make concessions to supply management, and unfortunately today we have our answer. Over 200,000 Canadian families depend on dairy, yet this government just sacrificed domestic production. Our farmers are again on the hook for another country's overproduction problem. All 5 supply managed sectors will take a serious hit, including chicken, turkey and eggs, making access to locally produced food more difficult and increasing food safety concerns. This Prime Minister promised to protect supply management. Why did he break that promise?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to remind the members opposite of where this negotiation started. This negotiation started with a U.S. demand that supply management be abolished entirely. Throughout the negotiation, Canada was clear that that was a political choice for Canadians and that only Canadians would make it. This deal preserves supply management. It preserves a secure food supply for Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Speaker, we know that the Liberal government has the political, the legal, the moral authority to reverse the transfer of child killer Terry Lynn McClintic to a healing lodge. The Public Safety Minister knows that bureaucrats got it wrong, and it's his job to fix their mistakes. When will the Minister, and the Prime Minister incidentally, do the right thing and put Tory Stafford's killer back behind bars?
Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, as I said several times last week, Tory Stafford's brutal death in 2009 was a horrible, gut-wrenching crime for the whole country. The killer, McClintic, was reclassified as medium security in 2014. The government of that day did not challenge that decision. And in fact, McClintic remains in a medium security correctional facility today. I've asked the Commissioner of Corrections to examine the decision-making process to make sure that all policies were properly followed, and more than that, to ensure that the policies themselves are correct and to identify...
The Honourable Member for Parry Sound, Muskoka.
Speaker, the killer was behind bars. Now, the killer is enjoying life in a healing lodge after being convicted of first-degree murder of Tory. Mr. Speaker, it's very clear, very simple, actually. You can give a policy direction, and the policy direction can include Terry Lynn McClintic as the killer of Tory Stafford. When will the Minister immediately give that direction to this outrageous transfer and reverse it for the people of Canada and for the family of Tory Stafford?
Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, the issues involved in this case are being very carefully examined by the Commissioner of the Correctional Service, subsequent to my request that she do so. I've asked her not only to look at the decision-making process to ensure that proper procedures and policies were followed, but also to look at the policies themselves and to report to me on whether those policies are in fact sufficient and proper and appropriate in the circumstances to protect public safety and to ensure that justice is done.
Honourable Opposition House Leader.
This weekend, in a letter to the Prime Minister, Tory Stafford's dad, Rodney, asked for one simple thing, and that is that his daughter's killer be put back behind bars where she was when we were in government. Rodney wrote, "I really have to question our federal government as to why convicted child murderers such as Terry Lynn McClintic deserve more rights than their victims and law-abiding Canadians." Mr. Speaker, tomorrow we'll be debating our motion calling on the Liberals to take action to ensure that this murderer is back behind bars. Will the Liberals support our motion, and will they act?
The Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, I will look forward to reviewing in great detail the correspondence from the father of Tory Stafford. The hearts of all Canadians go out to him and other members of the family who have suffered such anguish. Obviously, the objective here is to ensure that justice is done, to ensure that Canadians are always safe and secure, and I have asked the Commissioner of the Correctional Service to examine all the facts of this case and all the policies that were applied to ensure that the proper standards are adhered to.
Opposition House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the government has the authority today and the responsibility to do something about this injustice. For starters, they can change the policy, they're in government after all, to ensure that this killer is put back behind bars. They can hide behind empty excuses, but ultimately the buck stops with this Prime Minister. As Tory's dad said, obviously every Canadian out there can tell you that this is wrong. We agree with Tory's dad. Do the Liberals agree with Tory's dad? Will they act with the power and the authority that they have and make this right this wrong right and put Tory's killer back behind bars.
Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, I will await very anxiously the report that I have requested from the Commissioner of the Correctional Service of Canada. It is very important to proceed in this manner in an appropriate, strong way. I will do that. I'm waiting for her report. As soon as I get that report, I will take the appropriate action.
The Honourable Member for Saint-Hyacinthe-Fargot. Mr. Speaker, not only has the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement left our farmers by the wayside, but it will increase the price of medication for several chronic illnesses, such as Crohn's. This pill is really hard to swallow, especially when we're celebrating Seniors Week. Our seniors are one of the most vulnerable groups in our society, and they're already having a hard time paying for their medication. Do we really need another Liberal study to bring in a pharmacare system? The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Speaker, we know just how proud Canadians are of our healthcare system. We're working with provinces and territories and other partners to reduce the price and increase access to medication. This is very important for our government. We are supporting new research in Canada.
Victoria.
As if prescriptions weren't expensive enough, this new NAFTA deal will make them even more expensive. Right. This deal will increase drug costs for Canadians with arthritis, Crohn's disease, and other chronic conditions. It will also increase the cost for drug plans by tens of millions of dollars every single year. And by extending patents, Canadians are going to have to wait 2 more years before affordable generic drugs are available. So, Mr. Speaker, since this new trade deal doesn't make prescription drugs more affordable, will the Liberals immediately introduce universal, affordable pharmacare for Canadians?
Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, our government knows how rightly proud Canadians are of our public health system. We're going to continue to work with provinces, territories, and our partners to lower drug prices and provide timely access to medicines for all Canadians. We also look forward to attracting further medical research to Canada. Our government will always stand up for our public health care system.
The Honourable Member for Hamilton East, Stony Creek.
Speaker, October is Women's History Month in Canada. And during this month, we celebrate the many accomplishments of women and girls in our country and are encouraged to learn more about the remarkable women and girls who have advanced gender equality for everyone. Can the Minister of Status of Women tell this House what our government is doing to honor the lives and legacies of courageous women and girls from coast to coast to coast throughout Canada's history?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to congratulate my honourable colleague on his recent appointment to Canada's Status of Women Committee. His efforts will no doubt contribute greatly to our government's daily efforts to advance gender equality and grow the middle class. During Women's History Month, we honour women in Canada's history who've paved the way for the rest of us and celebrate those whose stories shapes history today. To that end, our government's launching a new online resource to celebrate over 100 women of impact, and we're also encouraging all Canadians, including members of this House, to use the hashtag #MakeAnImpact and celebrate the story of a woman making a difference in your community.
The Honourable Member for Beauport-Coteaubré, Dorion-Charlevoix. Mr. Speaker, when the Liberals came to power in 2015, the killer of Tory Stafford, the little girl of 8 years of age, was put behind bars. Today, she's in a healing lodge where children often stay over. This is unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. The Prime Minister knows full well that he alone has the power to reverse this decision. Will the Prime Minister defend victims' rights and reverse this decision so that this murderer will go back behind bars?
Public safety. Mr. Speaker, as the honourable member knows, I have asked the Commissioner of the Correctional Service of Canada to examine all the details of this particular case, including the processes by which the decisions were taken, and to ensure that those processes were followed, but more importantly, to examine the policies themselves, to determine if they are appropriate in order to keep Canadians safe and to ensure that justice is done. I will anxiously await her report.
Member for Barrie Innisfil.
Grand Valley Institution for Women is surrounded by a fence and razor wire. Inmates are kept behind bars. It's where Tori Stafford's killer was before she was transferred to the Aboriginal Healing Lodge. Now, instead of being behind bars and surrounded by razor wire, Tori's killer is surrounded by trees and children. Canadians want Tori's killer back in maximum security. Tori's father has pleaded with the Prime Minister to reverse this decision. For once, Mr. Speaker, will the Prime Minister do the right thing and stand up for victims and their families instead of criminals?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, the facts, in fact, do not support the proposition that the honourable gentleman has just made, because, in fact, the mother-child program exists in all of the women's institutions operated by the Correctional Service of Canada across this country. It applies at the location in Saskatchewan, which is medium and minimum security. It also applies at Grand Valley. Exactly the same principle.
Order. Order. The honourable member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
Earlier this year, the Prime Minister and his Justice Minister condemned the verdict reached in a trial by jury in a high-profile murder trial. They immediately involved the executive and legislative branch of government and changed the structure of jury selection in Canada. Yet in response to a gut-wrenching letter written to him by Mr. Stafford asking him to put his daughter's murderers back behind bars, he's falsely claiming that he can't do anything and is hiding behind the bureaucracy. Why the double standard?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, the government is proceeding in this matter in a very conscientious way to determine that justice is done, to ensure that the public is kept safe. I will look forward to responding to the father's letter. We extend to him our deepest sympathy, and so do all Canadians at the horrible crime that took his daughter's life. We will ensure not only that the policies were properly applied in this case, but in fact that the policies themselves are re-examined to determine that they are absolutely as effective as they possibly can be.
Honourable member for Calgary-Nose Hill.
And that says hiding behind the bureaucracy rather than doing their job. I want to correct the record on something. There's something different about this lodge. Outside of the razor wire and everything that the previous institution had, the Integrity Commissioner actually criticized this lodge because very recently its employees had been bringing their children to work there. Why won't the Prime Minister do the right thing, respond to Mr. Stafford, and put this deranged woman back behind bars?
Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, it is vitally important in the correctional system of Canada that sound, strong rules be in place to ensure that Canadians are kept safe, that justice is done, and that the proper results are achieved for all Canadians. We have asked for the review. The review is underway, not only of the decision-making process, but the policies themselves. As soon as we have the report from that review, we'll be anxious to review it and to act upon it.
Member for Hamilton Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, 8 months ago, the Liberals announced they would hold consultations about improving pension security for Canadian workers in case of bankruptcy or insolvency. Yet, no plans or consultations have been announced. Does this government not understand that 18,000 SEER retirees just lost a third of their pension, and that could happen again to others if we don't change the law? Workers and retirees in this country deserve better. Why is this government refusing to stand up for Canadian workers and retirees and their pensions? And why is the Minister of Seniors not stepping up to the plate on this important issue?
Honourable Minister of Economic Development.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Minister for Seniors for her leadership on this file, because she understands how important it is to support retirement security. She's one of the key members, along with so many members in our government, that helped strengthen the CPP, the Canadian Pension Plan. She also advocated and strengthened the expanded wage earner protection program. And in 2018 budget, Mr. Speaker, we provided a roadmap which would include a whole-of-government approach when it comes to strengthening our pensions. We are committed to workers and pensioners, Mr. Speaker. It's a priority for our government.
Honourable Member for North Island Powell River.
Mr. Speaker, Canadian seniors are active in their communities, contributing so much to society, yet too many are being left behind. Families struggle to support their elderly loved ones, senior poverty is on the rise, and too many are left to decide between buying food or medication. In the very near future, 1 in 4 Canadians will be 65 or older, making it critical for Canada to have a concrete plan moving forward. Mr. Speaker, seniors can't wait. When will this Prime Minister commit to a national senior strategy?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
First of all, I'd like to say to all of our seniors listening today, Happy Seniors Day. Our government took action immediately as soon as we came into government to lower the eligibility age from 67 back to 65 for OAS and GIS. Right. In addition to that, we increased the GIS for the most vulnerable seniors by almost $1,000 per year. Wow. We also invested $6 billion for home care and palliative care. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to our seniors, they've worked hard for us and we will continue to work hard for them.
The member for Simcoe Grey.
Mr. Speaker, Mario Bonifacio is a 79-year-old veteran who served Canada for 35 years. He suffered from a debilitating neck injury incurred during his military service. He's asked for support from Veterans Affairs. His claim was rejected. He appealed. The department has been fighting him ever since. In the minister's mandate letter, it states, veterans should not have to fight their own government for the support and compensation they've earned. Mr. Bonifacio is tired of fighting his own government. So when will the Minister of Veterans Affairs make sure this veteran gets the support he deserves?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, indeed we are committed to the well-being of each one of our veterans, and I invite the honourable member to bring this to my further attention. We'll see if we can get to the bottom of that particular case. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Chicoutimi-Le-Fjord. Mr. Speaker, today we still don't know if the government has ended benefits for Mr. Garnier, a criminal who's never served. The Minister of Veterans Affairs humiliated Mr. Brouillet, a very respectable veteran. Now we hear that Mr. Forbes, who chairs the National Council of Veterans Associations, is calling the new Pension for Life program a betrayal of promises made to our courageous veterans. When will the government keep its promises? When will it finally respect veterans? The Honourable Minister of Veterans Affairs.
Family of Constable Campbell, and as I've said, I reviewed the findings and directed my department to ensure that the services received by a family member of a veteran are related to the veteran's service, and where they are not, that the case be reviewed by a senior official. Address its policy in relation to providing treatment to family members under extenuating circumstances, such as conviction of a serious crime. This will add scrutiny, extra scrutiny, to a policy that has existed since 2012. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Brantford-Brant.
Mr. Speaker, the National Council of Veterans Associations has confirmed that Liberals have betrayed veterans and that veteran Sean Bure was right all along. The Liberals are also deliberately blocking ill and injured veterans from accessing the Career Transition Service. But when murderer Chris Garnier applies for veterans' benefits, they put him at the front of the line. Why does this government attack veterans and put the needs of murderers ahead of them?
The Honourable Minister of Veterans Affairs.
As I've said before, Mr. Speaker, for privacy reasons, we cannot comment on the details of this case. I will say, though, that unlike the Harper Conservatives, we do understand that when a veteran serves, their entire family serves with them, and we take their mental health and the mental health of the family very seriously. That's why we've opened a new Centre of Excellence on PTSD. It's why we've launched a joint suicide prevention strategy. And let me implore, if you are a veteran in need of mental health supports, we will give you the resources that you need when you need it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Bourassa. Mr. Speaker, our government understands the importance of community initiatives respecting mental health. We also acknowledge the distinctive aspects of all the different communities, in particular Black Canadians. Can the Minister of Health inform this House about measures taken by our government in the 2018 budget concerning promotion of health and Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to thank my honourable colleague, the member for Bourassa, for his work in this area. We are putting $5 billion over 10 years going to the helping the provinces and territories to improve mental health initiatives. $10 million, for example, to help young people, the Black community and other communities in order to create the possibility for new interventions. This is a good week for mental health. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When he was asked the question in New York this week, the Prime Minister said he knew that foreign funding had had an influence on the federal election of 2015. Bill C-76 was meant to address shortcomings in the Elections Act, but it did nothing to prevent foreign funds from influencing our election. When will the Prime Minister take this question seriously and prevent foreign interests from influencing our elections? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my colleague for this question. Everyone in this House, we all have to work to prevent the influence of foreign entities.
That we pass Bill C-76, because in Bill C-76 there are tangible measures to ensure that we can prevent foreign interference. So I hope my colleagues on the other side will work with us to get this legislation passed quickly to ensure that our next elections are protected. Thank you, Mr.
Speaker. The Honourable Member for Berthier-Masquinongé. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals have kept repeating in this House that they would defend supply management. Broken promise. The milk, egg and poultry producers are still the big losers. Let's do a little math. The Liberals conceded 3% with CETA, 3.25% with the CPTPP, and now 4% with the USMCA. This is almost 10% in concessions in the dairy sector in less than 3 years. Can the Prime Minister explain why he is endangering family farms by signing such bad agreements? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, we worked very hard to protect Canadian interests. We defended our system of supply management against the lobbies in the United States. We're keeping supply management in place. We will defend it, and I want to ensure dairy producers that we want this situation to be just and fair.
Mr. Speaker, nearly one-third of all Canadians rely on rental housing for a safe, affordable place to call home. Could the minister responsible for housing tell these Canadians how this government's investments in the rental construction financing initiative will increase the amount of affordable rental housing options for middle-class families struggling in expensive housing markets across Canada?
That's a great The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on World Habitat Day. Thank you also to our colleague from Kitchener Centre for his hard work towards securing a $2 million investment from the Rental Construction Financing Initiative, which will give 20 families in Kitchener a safe and affordable place to live. This is all part of the National Housing Strategy, a 10-year plan which is re-establishing federal leadership and partnership in housing.
The Honourable Member for Calgary-Mindapore.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister said at the United Nations that there wasn't that much foreign interference in the last federal election in Canada. Conservatives think that any interference is too much. Yeah. Can the Prime Minister tell us how much is not that much? Because according to Canadians, not that much is too much.
The Honourable Minister, Democratic Institution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We agree with our colleagues across the way. There shouldn't be any foreign interference, so that's why I asked them to work with us at the Procedure and House Affairs Committee to send Bill C-76 back to the House as soon as possible so that we can pass this legislation to ensure that our elections are protected next election. So let's work together, and I hope my honourable colleagues across the way will get this done with us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Mirabel. Mr. Speaker, it's almost a year, day for day, when the government said it would absolutely protect supply management, there would be no breach. Now, it said it would concede nothing, but now it contradicts what it said in the House, has not kept its word, and it's going to listen to Congress's wanted to tear up NAFTA. When will he protect Quebec? Mr. Speaker, we completely support our dairy producers, their families, and communities. It is the Liberal government that created supply management, and we are going to keep it and protect it. The most important thing is that the future of supply management is not at risk. The Honourable Member for Joliette. Mr. Speaker, I don't know, with the diafiltered milk, in the agreement with Europe and the TPP, Quebec farmers have been sacrificed in favour of advantages for Canada. When Donald Trump withdrew from the TPP, the government didn't negotiate anything and left the same breach in supply management. They said they would, in truth, it's Quebec who will have to pay 3 times with Europe, TPP, and now NAFTA. 3 strikes, you're out. What's the use of having 40 Liberal members from Quebec if they trample Quebec underfoot? The Honourable Minister, Mr. Speaker, we've worked very hard for Canadian interests. We defended our supply management system against American attempts to dismantle it. In the TPP and in NAFTA, we protected our supply management system.
Secretary to the Government House Leaders rising on a point of order.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure that all members are aware in the House that while the House is in session, that you're not allowed to take pictures. I note that there's been at least one member of the Democratic Party that has done so. I believe it's been posted. I just want to raise it as a point of order, and maybe that individual would take down the picture if it's on social media. And if you could just remind members that while we are in session, you are not supposed to be taking pictures with your smartphones.
I thank the honourable member for raising this point that members should be aware that members are not allowed to take photographs of the House while it's in session. And certainly I would look very dimly on such activity, and so I would encourage them to remove any such photographs.
The honourable member for Saint-Hubert wants to respond to this point of order? Yes. I don't regret calling attention to the fact that dairy producers in Quebec, for some time now,